There's a lot of confusion around the idea of a false twin flame or a twin flame catalyst. So I'm hoping I can bring a little bit of clarity to this discussion, at least from my perspective. And by clarity, what I really mean is simply that I'm hoping through something I say in this podcast video, you will find yourself feeling reconnected with your own soul's intuition. Because I always say, along our spiritual path, but especially as a twin flame, the only person who can possibly have the answers as to who your twin flame is, what your purpose here is along this path, how to move forward, all of these answers are always and only within you. So through my readings and through my podcast videos, I always say to only take what resonates, because truly my only goal is to reconnect you with what your soul already knows about this person, about this connection. Because when it comes to being a twin flame, each of us has a unique soul blueprint. This soul blueprint contains all of the information of what we have pre-decided on a soul level that we are going to experience through this physical lifetime. And as a twin flame, much of this soul blueprint is centered around our spiritual awakening and how and when our twin flame is going to catalyze us to deeper levels of surrender and heightened levels of growth along this awakening process. Notice I did use the word catalyzing there, because our true twin flame is our greatest catalyst, meaning they speed us up into greater healing, greater surrender to our spiritual paths, heightened soul expansion, evolution. All of these things speed up through the process of interacting with our twin flame, both energetically and in the physical, through this lifetime. So in that sense, our twin flame is a catalyst. However, there is also a term that I have seen floating around called the twin flame catalyst. This is in reference to someone other than our twin flame coming into our life prior to meeting our twin flame. And I see this used kind of in connection with the idea of a false twin flame as well. Some people equate them to be the same thing, the catalyst twin flame and the false twin flame. In both cases, a person or a soul who does serve a purpose in our life and who we may believe to be our twin flame, who is actually not our true twin. Now, personally, I don't speak very often on the concept of a false twin flame, because more often than not, I actually see those who are with a true twin flame who have been experiencing this journey for months or years have already experienced some level of confirmation to themselves. Yes, this is my person, this is my twin flame. Sometimes I find that we, in that kind of state of knowing, will sometimes in moments of conscious doubt, meaning when our ego steps in, our fear or anxiety steps in and overlays itself on this journey, within that doubt, sometimes the concepts of twin flame catalyst and the false twin flame are used by the ego to intensify the feelings of doubt and fear. So that is part of my goal through this video, is to return you to that state of what we call twin flame surrender, which I created a video on just a few days ago. You can explore that as well. But to shift you from all of those swirling doubts, fears, anxieties that are so natural and human and completely normal to come up along this journey, but to assist you in really releasing all of those things, creating this chaos, creating this confusion within you, and assisting you to melt back into unconditional love, into that quiet, calm, knowing, stable space within yourself. So again, I feel that very often when our conscious or ego mind steps in and starts questioning the journey. Are we going crazy? Are we just delusional? Other people have this opinion about this connection. How could this be our twin flame? When we start reeling with these negative thoughts and doubts, sometimes our ego will then pick up this term, twin flame catalyst, false twin flame, and now falsely apply it to a connection that we know to be a true twin flame in our heart and soul. So just know that if you are experiencing feelings of doubt or uncertainty, this does not inherently mean that you are not dealing with a twin flame connection. In fact, every twin flame goes through a process of confirmation. I even created a separate video today just on twin flame confirmation, so you may find that helpful to explore as well. But I do just want to share my thoughts on the twin flame catalyst. And I actually want to redefine this term to not be so much about a person, but about a kind of experience that we decide, that we predestine on a soul level to have prior to meeting a twin flame in the physical world in order to shake things up energetically, for lack of a better term, to clear space energetically within ourselves, within our soul, within our life, for our twin flame to enter our life. Because what you need to understand, in fact, what you already understand on a soul level that I want you to remember now, is that your point of meeting with your twin flame is most likely one of the most, if not the most, profound and intense experiences of your life. It is absolutely soul-shaking, ground-breaking. It is a point of contact at which everything becomes to you in your mind before meeting this person and after meeting them. It's almost equivalent to a kind of spontaneous spiritual awakening experience within yourself. This kind of moment must be energetically prepared for. On a soul level, we set up for ourselves these kinds of guideposts along the way prior to meeting our twin to slowly ease us into what is about to take place and enter our lives. So I am going to redefine the term twin flame catalyst as any person or experience that prepares the way for our twin flame meeting in the physical, that happens prior to meeting our twin flame in order to prepare us for their entrance into our life. So yes, sometimes a twin flame catalyst can be a person or a relationship. Sometimes, and this is how the term is traditionally defined, someone will meet a person that they experience a very intense soul connection with. This could be a karmic, it could be a romantic soulmate, or it could just be a regular relationship with a kind of intensity to it, an intense element to it. And at times, in hindsight, someone who experiences this connection will refer to it as a false twin flame. And the reason they refer to it that way is because this person caused them to feel so intensely that they began searching what was happening to them, and that is when they first came across the term twin flame. Many twin flames first find this term when they meet one another in the physical, but in other cases, some may find it prior to this meeting, especially the more spiritual twin, the more spiritually awakened one, will sometimes find this term before that point of meeting in the context of a different, very intense relationship. Only you can know, again, what this connection is and what the purpose of it is for you. But I believe that if you have a situation where you meet someone, you have a very intense connection with them, and it leads you to find the term twin flames, I sometimes think this is a pathway, an avenue by which certain individuals are given information about twin flames to mentally and spiritually prepare themselves, brace themselves, and be able to identify the true twin flame connection when it comes into their life. Essentially, I feel that many of these so-called false twin flame relationships can actually be a beautiful pathway guiding us into deeper information about twin flames, because we are about to meet our true twin, and so we are receiving this information through a very intense experience with this other person, so that when our twin enters our life, we are more energetically prepared by this knowledge of what is happening to us, especially as the more spiritual twin. Now, again, I'm not saying this is always the case. It really does depend on your unique relationship situation, and only you can apply these definitions and meanings to your individual twin flame path. But in other cases, I also see many kinds of catalyzing experiences for twin flames prior to meeting that have nothing to do with a person or a relationship at all. Sometimes we can experience a catalyst that is some kind of an experience. This could be some kind of a health scare, a near-death experience. It could be some kind of a major family issue, or something being brought to light or breaking apart a family dynamic in some way. It could be going through a very challenging breakup, a divorce, a huge move, a job loss, some kind of a tragedy. Any experience that really shakes you to your core, that causes you to very often feel as though you are going through what we would call a dark night of the soul kind of experience. These experiences often happen again after meeting our twin or going through separation, but very often, especially the more spiritual twin, will experience something prior to meeting their twin flame that either ignites their spiritual awakening, causes them to begin to question their paradigms, question their worldviews, how they see themselves, how they see the world, how they see their family, their religion, their work, leads them into some kind of questioning that energetically opens them spiritually to being able to accept the kinds of very intense things they are about to experience with their twin flame in the physical. And again, all of these catalyzing experiences, what I am now redefining as twin flame catalysts, are there to energetically shake up your world or your being, and to essentially break you open energetically, break your paradigms, break you out of your paradigms, your worldviews that would prevent you from accepting or connecting with your twin flame in the physical, or understanding your experiences with them. Because one key about the twin flame journey, and why one twin chooses to experience a more spiritual path, the twin flame we call the awakened twin or the spiritual twin, is because it is necessary for one twin flame counterpart to have a more kind of conscious level knowledge of what is happening. This kind of holds, I don't want to say it holds it together in the physical, but it kind of holds a space for the other twin flame to then rise into that same level of awakening, to continue to consciously awaken to the truth of the connection as well. Because if both twin flames were completely physically oriented and unawakened to what was happening in their connection, unable to understand it or identify it, it probably wouldn't be at all sustainable in the physical world. They might meet and not even be able to consciously register the intense experiences happening to them. And they may not be able to create a strong, stable enough energetic bond, energetic union is what we call it in the 5D, that would then allow them to cultivate a physical connection, a physical manifested reunion with one another. Now, in order to create what I've been calling the energetic union with our twin flame, the energy union, the bond in the fifth dimension, which of course we're not really creating it because it always exists. What we are doing is stabilizing it. We are aligning ourselves with it so that we can stabilize those union energies in the 5D, and then from that stable energetic space, that is like the foundation upon which we can then build the physical connection. In fact, once you have stabilized that energy union with your twin flame within yourself, you don't have to do or push or chase anything within this connection, because whatever is going on energetically becomes magnetized to you, becomes drawn to you. So within the context of the twin flame connection, when we shift into union energetically with our twin flame and we stabilize that union in the fifth dimension realm, we actually put ourselves in a magnetic kind of space and aura that allows us to effortlessly attract deeper manifested connection and contact communication with our twin flame in the physical. So to assist you with this shift from the chaos consciousness, as I've been calling it, to surrender state where you can build that energy union with your twin, I've created a twin flame surrender subliminal meditation. This is brand new. I just created it this week. It's on my website, soundandsoulful.com. So as you can see on the screen, on this website, I've created over 100 subliminals for all areas of life, for appearance changes, for mood shifts, for specific material manifestations like money or business success, for love and relationships, and then of course a section for twin flames exclusively. This twin flame surrender subliminal is really powerful for deeply reprogramming your subconscious mind, eliminating any blocks that could be preventing you from shifting into that frequency of total unconditional love and surrender, which then allows you to manifest 3D union with your twin flame as well. So the link to this subliminal is in the pinned comment and description box under this video. You can try out any subliminal I've created completely free for 7 days by creating a free trial account on my website. Thank you so much for joining me here today in this podcast episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please be sure to subscribe and join our community of like-minded, conscious, creative beings here on YouTube. You can also follow me on Instagram at Magnetize Yourself. Have a wonderful, beautiful rest of your day, and I will talk to you again in the next podcast.